about 5 more minutes, and this is also last call for comments as well. So if you want to speak tonight, please see Julie in the blue shirt. She has the comment cards for you to address the board and our legislative representatives. Thanks. I didn't think so. So I have a career in radio. You'd think I'd be able to work a microphone.
Because that's in the on position.
Now the green light's on.
Mine's not working. It's not live.
Oh, you have it muted? Okay.
It's for our own good.
Well, I was turning them off and on, so.
I just texted your brother. I'm like, what's your sister's name?
Oh, nice.
I wasn't sure if it is too far away. Do I need to fill it out and then give it to you?
Okay.
Because of YouTube
Oh, okay.
streaming.
Oh, I didn't know that. Great.
Yeah, so switch is on.
Yep. Okay.
So whenever the green light is on, you're live.
Yep. Unless you have it overridden. Okay.
Say green light on?
You're familiar with hot mics, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that means.
Yep.
So was Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You may want to switch it on and off. When you speak,
What?
just
Okay.
hold the ball until you don't take left.
And you
I
just
don't
twist
care.
it.
You can walk him up here. Here. Hey, John.
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
Always change it up if we have to.
If he's coming from his office, and his office is right there, and he's got to walk past all the parents and the kids, 45 minutes.
Could be. Could be trick or treating.
That's right.
You want me to write it on you?
Can I get some trick or treat candy, John?
Yeah.
I pushed it on
horrible
social
having it
media
in
as
the
much as
house
I
because,
could.
you know,
It like dominated my.
myself.
I even changed my cover
Yes,
photo to a
I
bus.
It was my little treat for the night. I haven't had dinner yet, but you know, I never let that stop me.
No, a little sugar high.
Next month.
Are you talking? That pretty real too.
Yes.
Waiting on Mr. Brady, I take it.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna get started at 6:15 anyway. Bounce around.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to this Connect Transit Town Hall meeting. It means a lot to us to know that transit means a lot to you, so we appreciate you coming here to give your time tonight for this event. We're here to share what we know, but also we want you to share your stories with us. We want to hear how you use transit, why it's important to you, and what would happen if Connect Transit was not able to provide the service you've come to rely on. We hope the message emphasized tonight is that while not everyone may use transit, everyone needs it, so it needs to be funded. It delivers people to work, to buy goods and services, to medical appointments, to school, simply to visit friends and family across town. Those rides amount to 2.6 million trips per year. Just imagine the congestion on Bloomington normal streets if just a portion of those trips were in automobiles. I'm Mike McCurdy. I'm acting chair of the Connect Transit Board of Trustees. I'm joined by fellow board members John Bowman and Jennifer McDade, also Lauren Lacey, and Assistant City Manager Steve Rasmussen is also in attendance tonight. You may have had a chance to meet and speak with some Connect Transit staff here this evening. The system's general manager is Andrew Johnson. We're also honored to have state lawmakers or their representatives in attendance tonight. State Senator Jason Barrickman represents the 53rd Senate District. Sitting in for Senator Barrickman is legislative aide Catherine Hancock. The 44th Senate District covers much of Bloomington and a chunk of Central Illinois. That's served by Bill Brady. Here for Senator Brady is Christine Holman. And Representative Keith Summer serves the 88th District. Here tonight for Representative Summer is legislative aide Ann Armitage, and we're awaiting the arrival of State Representative Dan Brady. So thanks to our legislators or the representatives for being here tonight. We appreciate that. We'll open up the floor if you have anything to say in just a moment. Before we hear from you, though, let's turn to Andrew Johnson, our general manager, for an update on the Connect Transit budget. Andrew?
Thank you, Mike. I just want to give a little bit of background before getting into what the current status is, and that goes to how we are funded at Connect Transit. 65% of our operating expenses are paid for by the state of Illinois. That is a very, very generous amount, unparalleled in the United States. And that has made Connect Transit and all the other downstate transit systems very dependent on the state of Illinois for funding. To put it into perspective, without state funding, Connect Transit would only be able to run about 25% of the service that it currently provides. So the ability to operate without state funding is nearly impossible at this point. And how that funding works is tax receipts come in and are deposited into the state's general revenue fund, and out of that fund, transfers are made to the Downstate Public Transportation Fund. That is the fund that the state of Illinois uses to pay Connect Transit and all the other transit systems in downstate Illinois. It has from time to time put us into a situation where we've had slow pays on that. We're paid on a quarterly basis, but nothing has ever been too bad or too slow. But this time things are very different. We are 6 months behind on our funding. And what that means is we are missing about $5 million of the funding that we need to survive, and we only have about $7 million of total expenses during that 6-month period. So it is quite a bit of money. So where we stand right now, the Downstate Public Transportation Fund still does not have funds sufficient to start making payments, and no transfers have been made from the General Revenue Fund. At this point in time, there has already been one transit system that has had to close its doors in west central Illinois, Jacksonville. And others are slated to have to cut back service or close their doors over the next few months. Connect Transit is able to continue providing service through the end of the year, but if no transfers are made and no payments are made to Connect Transit from the state of Illinois, Connect Transit will have to temporarily suspend service after December 31st. That is the worst case scenario. I will stress that. I am still very hopeful that we will have a transfer made, that there will be a payment made by December. hopefully sooner, but no guarantees at this point. But we are hopeful that that will be done. But the worst-case scenario is we will temporarily suspend service at the end of the year. And we will continue to keep everybody up to date with the latest news that we receive. But right now, really until we get into the later part of the year, because I will say that the state of Illinois has very slow collection months for tax receipts in October and November. So that's why we're hoping December maybe. But this isn't a situation of just politics stopping them from paying transit. This is simply a cash flow situation where they don't have the money to do it. So we are hoping that they will put that payment in, and we will continue providing service that you've come to expect. So with that, I will turn it over to the representatives of our state legislators if they wish to make any comments.
I'm Catherine Hank. Can you hear me okay?
Lean in a little bit.
Huh?
Lean in a little bit.
From Senator Barackman's office. Unfortunately, he had another event this evening and is unable to attend. But as you mentioned, it is a cash flow problem. We're hoping that in December we'll have payment, but we know that he knows it's not soon enough. So trying to come to a compromise and work on this as the best we can, but he does regret not being here. So.
Thank you, Andrew. I did talk to Senator Brady right before I got here, and he as well is disappointed that he can't be here. And fortunately, mass transit isn't the only area of Illinois that is suffering right now. But we are working diligently. We are in contact with the comptrollers every day, and also IDOT. And as far as I know, Andrew, we've been told it will be December. So they're looking at December to release some more, funds. That's what we're hoping for, and Senator Brady is, pushing for a lot of this. You guys have a lot of great things in Bloomington, Illinois to offer, and Connect Transit has done a fabulous job as far as we're concerned for the community. And we know this gets you to places of medical appointments, jobs, things like that. It's very important. So on behalf of Senator Brady, please feel free to call our office if you need anything. We'd love to find alternative, ways to help you guys out. But in the meantime, we're hoping as long as, it goes, this budget comes through, and December they will release some more, funding. Thank you.
I'm Ann Armitage. I'm from Representative Keith Summers' office, and it's the same situation. He had prior commitments and was unable to make it and was disappointed. I can't say much more than what these two have said, but what I can say is please feel free to call our office anytime. We're always there to help. We're hearing the same things. It'll probably be December, but hopefully, we'll hear something sooner than that. But again, please don't hesitate to call, because we're here to do whatever we can to help. Thank you.
And our late arrival, Dan Brady, thanks for showing. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I'm here
Through
representing
the throng
myself.
of trick-or-treaters?
I'm sorry?
Did you make it through the throng of trick-or-treaters outside?
I did. What a very, very, very well-attended event tonight.
And you
Treat
brought
Fest.
candy for all of us, I hope.
You know what? We ran out of candy and coloring books for them, so but it's nice to be here, and I think we're just introducing ourselves at the stage. Is that?
Yeah, we're asking if there are any comments that our state representatives or senators want to make.
Sure. First off, thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. I don't know what's been addressed by some of my colleagues, representatives, so if I go along the same lines, I apologize or reiterate things that have already been said. But to try and cut to the chase, there are certain things that are mandated in state law as far as payments go and payouts. And there are certain things that are mandated by state law on the payouts that take priority. And so with that being said, I think as this morning, there's about $9.2 billion of bills in the state of Illinois. That's with a B. And under law, the comptroller, who's responsible for issuing the checks within the state of Illinois, has the awesome responsibility of paying a host of individuals on a priority scale that reaches from public employees to employer contributions to state aid, general state aid to schools, pensions, the list goes on. The courts have also recently, with our budget problems, have indicated and issued orders that certain social service agencies be provided and paid from the state, which takes a priority as well. It's been also reported that that in the history of October and November and the months being low revenue months, that there's not money coming in like other months throughout the state of Illinois to pay some of the state bills that I just mentioned to you. So that compounds the problem. With that being said, I'll be happy to try and answer that I can, but I will continue to advocate to the best of my ability when it comes to Connect Transit and downstate transit in the state. I've heard from numerous individuals of the importance of this transportation for their work, for school, for their lives, basically. And so I certainly understand that. But it's also noteworthy to know that there has been a significant amount paid out to Connect Transit from the state of Illinois over the last several months, with some of the biggest payments coming in April and then again in August of this year. In summarizing all that, I would tell you that I will do everything I can to look to not have disruption of services, and I believe that come the end of this year of 2016, after some of these other priorities are met in payments, that there will be continued payments to the downstate transit authorities across the state of Illinois. It may not be as timely as they wish. It may not be the amount they want, but my focus will be making sure, to the best of my ability, there's no disruption of services. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here tonight, and I don't know if we're having a question and answer period or not, but I'd be happy to do that if that's on the agenda. Thank you.
We're going to move on to public comments, but again, thanks for your presence tonight, and thanks for all of the lawmakers for sending representatives.
I came as myself. I had no costume, so this is what you get.
All right, well, let's move on to the public comment section of this town hall meeting. Tonight, we're basically following the rules that we follow at our regular board meetings. Everyone wishing to speak should have filled out a comment card. Tonight, we are focusing on the budget and the ability to provide service to Bloomington Normal. I'll call the names, and the speakers will have about 3 minutes to address the town hall meeting. We'll record your comments for the record as per our regular rules, and as following our rules, we're also here to listen and not engage in a dialogue in order to move this meeting forward. So I'll be calling 3 names at a time, so speakers may queue up, and we'll begin with Melissa, who's representing SEFT, Richard Greenfield, and Glenn Ludwig. Melissa, you're first.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I work for Connect Transit, but I was asked by SEFT citizens to ensure fair transit to speak on their behalf, as they could not be here tonight. So they did forward a letter that they would like to be read. And so from their offices and their organization, they say that the ridership of Connect Transit is threatened due to the withholding of critical funds by the state of Illinois. It is important for all of the citizens of Bloomington and Normal to work together regarding the Connect Transit crisis. The delay of state funding that could stop service of Connect Transit will not only affect those who depend on the system for transportation, it will affect all of the citizens within the Twin Cities. According to research by SEFT, a large percentage of employees, consumers, and students use the system. There are those who are employed at OSF and Broman hospitals and doctor and dental offices throughout the Twin Cities. Some are employed at the universities, colleges, schools, and libraries in both cities. Many are employed at Eastland and College Hills Mall. There are those who are employed at both Walmarts, Meijer, and other local merchants. Many are also employed at the grocery stores throughout Bloomington Normal. Not only are the jobs of those directly employed at Connect Transit threatened, but so are the jobs of so many others. All of the citizens of the Twin Cities who depend on the services of the employees aforementioned will seriously be affected.
Thank you. Richard Greenfield, Glenn Ludwig, and then John Weaver.
Good evening, Mike.
You're-
Good evening. My name is Richard Greenfield. I am the Secretary of Governmental Relations for the Student Government Association at Illinois State University. A few quick things, like this past Monday, I had a conversation with a student who currently works at Macy's. And when she found out about Connect Transit might be shutting down come January, it broke her heart because this is the only way she gets to work. I like to think of this downstate grant that is given to the downstate transportation companies as a jobs program. First of all, let's think about the 150 people who work for Connect Transit. If they lose their jobs, that means the state of Illinois has less money going into the income taxes. That means they're not paying income taxes. Well, that means they're not paying income taxes. That means less money going to the comptroller's office. And we're raising the unemployment rate here in the Bloomington-Normal area. And then let's think about the students of Illinois State University who works at the malls and who works at the Walmart, who works at Kroger, and who also works at Meijer. When they can't go to work, that means they're going to get fired. And when they get fired, that means they can't pay the state income taxes. And when they can't pay state income taxes, that's less money going into the state coffers. So I'm asking you guys, let's make this happen because we want to keep unemployment down. This is the best way we can. This is a jobs program. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Glenn Ludwig, John Weaver, and then Sam Carmody. Glenn?
Good evening. I'm Glenn Ludwig. Is this on?
It is.
I'm a retired citizen that lives in Bloomington. I am not a Connect Transit customer. I probably won't be in my life because I hope to be able to drive till I get ready to move on to someplace else. I'm here not because I use the service. I'm here because I am really concerned about the business model that Connect Transit has operated on and continues to operate on. And my concern is linked to the fact that it is so highly subsidized by money from the state of Illinois. I think that in some future time, the business model for Connect Transit could be used as a case study to help people learn about what happens when government has lacks a well-written and executed business plan. The concern I have is that we all know we're in the state of Illinois, and we also know we're in the United States of America. And at both levels, government isn't very well funded, particularly in Illinois. So with a very high subsidy coming from the state, and a state that is in bad shape, we shouldn't be surprised that we're having trouble getting money. So what surprises me as I look around as a non-rider of the Connect Transit system is the number of really, really nice buses that we've got, and the wonderful campus that serves as an office location and point for the buses to be serviced and so forth. I'm really surprised that somehow that business, which is part of the business model, somehow that business model was put together with hopefully with apparently no recognition of the risk of losing funding at some point in time. So that's the point I want to make. That I think that the people sitting in front of me here and the people who are part of the staff of Connect Transit are faced with preparing for at least some very tough decisions in the future. And the only way that the state of Illinois and I hate to see Connect Transit be one of the whipping posts, but the only way that we're going to ever get better is through pain. No pain, no gain, unfortunately, is what the world that we live in, and pain's coming. I feel bad for those of you that use the system, but I don't think it should be a surprise. I think that the legislative people who have provided this level of funding should have been giving some suggestions and feedback and some cautionary guidance that, hey, you got a really good thing here going, we may not be able to keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. John Weaver, Sam Carmody, and Elizabeth Gruber.
I may echo some of his thoughts. My memories go back when Connect Transit, and I think it was Bloomington Normal Public Transportation, went to build their new facility. It was suggested that they build down in the railroad yards, which would have been a perfect spot for them, but that wasn't grand enough for the new transit thing. So they had, as he said, built a grand campus out east or west of town on virgin farm ground. The sewer system had to be extended. And I hope that the board members and Mr. Brady and the representatives listen up, because I'm here speaking for the taxpayers as well. When I look, I've taken a shallow look at some of the expenses of the transit district. I look at the buses going down the street with an average of maybe 4 passengers on board with a 36-passenger bus. And, you know, it was mentioned that the state's paying 65%, but as I understand, the taxpayers are paying 88%. So every dollar that the transit district is spending, they're coming in my pocket for the other 88 cents. The people riding the bus are paying 12. I can appreciate the people's need for transportation, but when Mr. Johnson takes a crew to San Francisco and they go to the Crab House and spend $475 for a meal, myself as a taxpayer, when I'm asked to fund 88% of that, I think the board members maybe need to look a little closer at their job, and is there a per diem expense? I think they need to look at the annual expense, travel expenses for the Connect Transit. When you're coming to the taxpayers for 88% of your revenue and not getting it out of the toll box, then you have to answer to the taxpayers for the money you're spending. And I'm going to say to Mr. Brady, I'll say to any state representative, I don't want my grandchildren's future mortgaged to pay for this largeness. And you cannot keep going and borrowing more and more money. And it's so ridiculous, as it was said. The state of Illinois has got a backlog of $16 billion in unpaid bills. That's not good business. We need to elect people that can balance the budget, get the spending in line. We need people with Connect Transit that can get their spending in line so that they're not looking to the taxpayers for 88% of their budget. So, thank you. And probably the board members will be getting to know me a little better, because I'm not going to go away.
Okay, thanks for your comments. Elizabeth Gruber, Vicky Kruger, and Monica Hilt.
I am here today not just as myself, but for others who could not be here due to many reasons like work or taking classes. I enjoyed the buses and I need them to get around. I am able to be independent and not rely on others to get me where I need to go. I used to have to walk or rely on family and friends to get me to work, school, even appointments. I could not schedule anything, school or appointments, unless it was convenient for the people getting me there. That means I had to take night classes and be out in the dark, which I did not agree with. I need these buses like many others for independence. If they stop running, many, may be out of a job, but I, as many others, will lose the feeling of being independent and getting around by myself. We need these buses, as many might not be able to attend college, work, or other places if these buses stop running. I and others could run the risk of possibly losing our jobs if we can't get to these places any longer due to the fact that some people like me can't drive or have a car. If you're late to work, you're fired from work. If you're late to class, you fail so many times. I need those buses like many others do. I don't know what year I started riding these buses. It was shortly after high school that I found about the bus system. It took me 3, maybe 4 years before I was accepted to Connect Mobility. This bus has been able to get me to work on time. I'm able to get to classes early and on time. I can't get around without these buses. And I speak for not only me, but as myself. Others.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Vicki Kruger, Monica Hilt, and Brashawn Hamilton.
I'm Elizabeth Gruber, and I have property in both Bloomington and Normal. I do not ride the bus. I was looking at this, and I've never seen a company or anything that budgeted for a $12 million deficit right off the bat. I mean, you're already saying you can't make, it's not a business model that's going to work. My real concern is, I've just watched a bus right now go with one person in it going past, and they go round and around. I think the general manager, you spoke about, you have enough money for 25% that could run without state aid. I would propose that you do that. And I think you address the needs of the handicapped, the elderly, the ones that really need the bus service, and let the rest of them walk or take bicycles, because Normal really promotes bicycles. And stop having these huge buses going around with nobody in them. I think it's a big waste. I understand you just hired 2 administrators for Connect Transit, even though you don't have the money, and you know you don't have the money coming from the state of Illinois. And I really wonder why the state of Illinois should be paying for Bloomington Normal buses in the first place. And I agree with that gentleman. It comes out of everybody's pocket, the whole thing, not just the part here in Bloomington Normal. So I guess I'm one of those people that says cut back to 25%, don't take the state money, and service the needs of the people that really need it. Make them fit a schedule if they have to do a schedule to get the bus, and provide a service to those people that are the most needy. Thank you.
Anything you want to say? All right. Vicki Kruger.
Hi, my name is Vicki Kruger, and I'm speaking on behalf of Mark First. I feel that we need the bus service for independence, and most of us can't drive. I have a physical, a mental, and developmental disability, and I need the bus service, Connect Transit, to get around to both my jobs, because if I don't, I would have to rely on my parents or some other mentors to get to work.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. I've lost my place here. I think that was Monica, correct?
No, that was Vicki. I'm Monica.
You're Monica, okay. Monica Hilt, Brashawn Hamilton, and then David Taylor. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Just let me give you a quick 3-minute through my week. Since we have 3 minutes, that's why I'm going to take all that time. Sundays, I go to morning worship, and thank God Connect Transit has started a Sunday service. After morning worship, we go to dinner, my family, 4 children, and my husband. On Mondays, I go to physical therapy on Monday mornings because I have multiple sclerosis. And later on that day, my daughter may have a viola recital at the high school, so I have to go there as well. On Tuesday, I'm going to go work out at Larry Strong doing my weightlifting. And then also later on, my second daughter is on a basketball team. So at junior high, so I'm at the junior high Tuesday evening. On Wednesdays, mornings, I'm back at physical therapy and most likely going to go get a blood draw because I have to get my PT/INR done. Then Wednesday evenings, I'm at Bible study because that's where I need to be. On Thursdays, I am back at primary care doctor's office. But Thursday evenings, I'm at a volleyball game because I have my older daughter at the high school that I am at. And then on Fridays, woohoo, I'm at Friday Night Lights. I have football games that I must attend for my 2 boys. So Saturdays, I do a little light grocery shopping. I go to the cleaners. I am out every day. I need Connect. My husband works a full-time job. He cannot take care of me, 4 children, and do all of this by himself. So I rely strictly, solely on Connect. I'm also not going to be very selfish and just speak to about myself and my family, but I want to speak to some of the great Connect Transit workers that I have become friends with, like Jerry and Shirley and Keith and Mark and Marcus, Kathy, Sylvia, Sue, Monique, and Bill, Paige, Alana, Stephanie, Daniel, Caitlin, Aaron, Jennifer, Teresa, Mary, and Alex, and Callan, and Steve. That is just some of the Connect workers who will be affected if Connect has to shut down. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Rashawn?
Hello? Okay. This is my first time attending a meeting like this, so I didn't even know I was going to have, like, the whole floor to speak, just to say. Just throw that out there. Okay, so I am a recent graduate of ISU University. I just graduated this past May. Not to do the full week, but per day, I say I rode the bus 6 times a day. That includes going to class, that includes volunteering, that includes going to work. At one point, I was working 2 jobs just to pay my tuition. One job was for rent, and the other job was so I can have extra money, of course, and also pay my student fees. And yeah, volunteering in the community, the McLean County Nursing Home at one point, Unity Community Center, and the Family Community Resource Center, where I currently work now as a social service representative there. On a daily basis now, in my new role, I encounter many individuals that utilize the transportation services. We actually had to host a training session for our fellow employees once they changed the routes, just because we have so many clients that will have been affected by the new routes, and I can only imagine the many that will be affected by not having routes at all. I heard potentially having bikes as an option. I work for a nonprofit agency. I can't afford a bike. I'm just being honest. Look, at this point. And that's just me as the worker. I can only imagine the actual clients that we serve and the many clients that we serve in Bloomington Normal community that can't afford even a bike. So if they can't go to work, they can't afford the bike to get to work. And if in this world, if I had to ride a bike, as I said, I still enjoy to volunteer. I can't carry my groceries on a bicycle. Let's just be honest. I don't have a backpack anymore. I threw it away once I graduated. I said, I'm not going to see that again. But yeah, so I don't have too many options as far as grocery shopping. If I'm working full-time, volunteering, going to Bible study, throughout the week, Saturdays, if I'm not working or volunteering, I have to do my grocery shopping, but the bus route's in pretty early. Or what if there's no bus route at all? Then when am I going to have time to grocery shop? How am I actually going to get to work? Why do my employers have to worry about how I'm actually going to get to work to serve the community that I live in? So those are my concerns, and whether or not, basically what we're going to do about it. Because I know everybody's voicing their opinions about, everybody's upset pretty much about the potential suspension of bus routes, but what can we do? What are we going to do? And as a social service agent myself, I want to know what I can do. If I have to host a rally to call, have a rally of some sort with everybody having cell phones, then so be it. But I want these brochures in my hand when I leave, because we have to do something. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm done.
Thank you. David Taylor and then Jim Soldner.
Thank you. My name is David Taylor. I'm the president and CEO of United Way of McLean County. So I'm here as a nonpartisan purveyor of information. I can appreciate in my role a little bit of the challenging complexity that you all are dealing with here tonight, and in just the day-to-day decisions that are going on, either from the legislative side or from Connect Transit. As a United Way, one of the roles that we play throughout the state is to fund health and human services. In the state of Illinois alone, United Ways fund more than $100 million in programs and services, making us the largest non-governmental funder of health and human services in the state. And we take that role seriously to recognize and understand the needs in each of our individual communities. And in 2014, at the request of the Town of Normal, City of Bloomington, State Farm Insurance, Country Financial, the universities, hospitals, and others, we conducted a very exhaustive community needs assessment. For those of you who are interested, I would encourage you to check that out at uamc.org. And what I'm here to convey is that one of the prominent themes I would suggest throughout the course of that 170-some pages, it's a little light reading if you want to go and check it out afterwards, was transportation. It's a critical need and a critical component of infrastructure. To give you some sense, more than 17,000 people participated in some form or fashion through focus groups, questionnaires, meetings, and surveys to that. So it should be not only an exhaustive, but also a very authoritative source of information that I know a lot of nonprofits and other services use here in this community. So I'm not here to advocate necessarily on one side or the other. I'm here to point out what has been demonstrated as a need in the community through a very nonpartisan, non-biased informational source that indicates transportation 2.5 years ago throughout multiple sections of this assessment was identified as a significant challenge or a significant need on the minds of citizens here in the community. And I would suggest that that was at a time where things were relatively rosy, considering that we did have a state budget, we did have Mitsubishi, we had other things going well for us here in the community. So I would suggest that that gap will only continue to grow with each passing year, and also with some of the challenges that we're currently facing. So again, I'm just here to purvey and to be the purveyor of that information, and wanted to point out that that's available for resource and for use, and to recognize that it's more likely than not that that gap is going to continue to grow unless some solutions are created in some form or fashion here. So thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Thank you. My name is Jim Soldner. I'm on the McLean County Board. I represent southeastern McLean County, rural part of the county, and I want to speak tonight as a member of the rural part of the county and also as a county board member. I'm chairman of the Finance Committee and the vice chairman of the full board. As a citizen of the rural part of the county, you might ask, well, what concern do you have with the Connect Transit system for the Twin Cities? My concern is when I come to Bloomington to go to Walmart, to Dick's Sporting Goods, or to Dunkin' Donuts, whichever one of those places, or all three maybe, as someone mentioned before, the employees of those places often ride and often use Connect Transit. And it's going to make it harder on the citizens, even in the rural part of the county, if they come to those businesses and aren't able to be served in the way that we're used to being served. And again, it could mean some businesses may close if they cannot get enough employees to come to work on a regular basis. So as a member of the rural community, we're concerned also about the transit system. From the county board point of view, to coin a phrase, we feel your pain. We also rely on money from the state. We actually rely on money from the federal government for our show bus system. It's a 7-county system that provides rural transportation to members of those counties. And we've been behind in payments from the state for quite some time. We get our vehicles a lot of times through the state, and I know that although we got a couple of vehicles here recently this year, we are way behind. They owe us several vehicles, and again, it's a case where, what are we going to do, much like you, if it gets to a point where we can't afford to provide those services, not only for the people of McLean County, but for the rest of the 7 counties in our purview. So again, we understand the issues that you're going through, and I don't think there's any. I don't want to pretend to be able to schedule bus service, because I know that it's got to be a hard job. And I know that you don't like to see buses riding around with one person on it also. But I do know that earlier this year, when there was talk about backing your service down and not providing as much service, there was a big hue and a cry in the community then. So I think it's a case where your service is really important for businesses, for the general appearance of the community. I think we're trying to attract businesses to come to Bloomington Normal, and I think Connect Transit is one of those services that people look at when they come to the county. So I appreciate the time to speak.
Thank you, Jim. And that concludes the public comment section, exhausts the cards that I have in front of me. Jim mentioned seeing an empty bus here or there, and I thought, Andrew, you might want to, we've heard that a couple of times tonight, might want to address that and some other things we heard tonight.
Sure. Yeah, tonight we've heard from those who truly depend on transit, those who need transit to get to the things they need to do, be it their jobs, their school, healthcare, shopping, just everything that gives people their independence. We've also heard from people who question the existence of public transportation in its current form in Bloomington Normal. And I take that to be a question in the larger scale of where are we going with state government, with federal government. And those are questions that can be asked, and they're fair questions. But at the same time, I do like to point out that every mode of transportation is subsidized with tax dollars. The street, the sidewalk, the runway that your plane takes off on, the roads or the railroads and all the infrastructure with that. There is tax dollars in all of that, and public transportation is one of the components of the transportation network that keeps our country moving. We have about 2.6 million trips that Connect Transit provides every year. That comes down to about 24 boardings on our buses for every hour of transit service that we provide. Now, you will see from time to time a bus that has one person on it, two people on it. You might see one that's coming away from a transfer point with no one on it. That does happen from time to time. The same way that you see nobody driving down your street at night or right at the beginning of the day. Sometimes midday, maybe one or two cars come by, but that street's still there. So what I'm trying to get at is, there's a whole lot of this system that people don't necessarily see on a day-to-day basis. What I like to say is public transportation, many use it, but everybody needs it. There is someone who touches your life on a daily basis that relies on public transportation in this community. And there is someone in this community that enriches your life by making the community better through their job or through their work, through going to school, through living a healthier lifestyle, that type of thing. No matter what, your life is touched by people who utilize public transportation. Public transportation is one of the things that helps drive our economy. It's one of the things that is just woven into the fabric of this community as a service that helps people remain independent and remain very productive members of the community that make the community better for everyone else. So while I fully appreciate the pros and the cons, both sides of the argument, I do want to remind everybody that subsidies are what's necessary to keep transportation going in all forms. And even if we were to cut back to 25%, that's still using federal dollars and local tax dollars. So it's always going to be tax dollars that keeps transportation going. So with that, I think we're ready to move on to the next portion of our program.
I think that's it's actually the question and answer period is over, sir. Is it?
Nope.
It's not?
We got two.
Am I missing out? Yeah. So, we'll still remain here for a few questions after we're finished, and we're also some of us will be here for the media if that's what anybody wants to do. I'd like to thank everybody for attending tonight's Connect Transit Town Hall meeting. You can stay up to date on the budget situation online at facebook.com/Connect Transit or at the Connect Transit website, which is connect-transit.com. And thanks to our legislators, their representatives, the board members for attending tonight, Andrew Johnson, and transit staff. And again, if members of the media are interested in speaking with any of us, we'll be available for a little while. Thanks.
We really need that size bus. It would be more practical to run something smaller.
We try to standardize our fleet. We have a small fleet